Here's what the Republican Party is running on.
We are not ashamed. We're going to do a political rally, and we're going to honor Jesus. We're going to say his name. We're not going to compromise. We're going to have Pastor Todd Coconato that came up here and delivered an awesome word. And we're not going to be ashamed, and they're not going to tell us separation of church and state. We are the church, and we run the state. The church as a business doesn't get to monetarily control the government. I will never let that happen. There will no church in Georgia monetarily control the government. But we are the church, friends. It's us. We are the church. And it says of, by, and for the people. The church runs the state of Georgia. This state is sovereign. This is our state. We decide what happens. We decide if we kill babies. We are not ashamed.
Jesus, guns, and babies, chat. Yeehaw! Jesus will watch as we use our guns. Thanks for the subs. Marjorie Taylor Greene is out there saying there's a conspiracy theory about the Buffalo shooting. We could even have a mass shooting stand on its own before another mass shooting happened.
Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers, a member of the Oath Keepers, who also appeared in Nick Fuentes' white nationalist America First PAC conference, has pushed a conspiracy in regard to the Buffalo shooting. The shooter in that case was fueled by racism and a belief in white replacement theory. So he showed up to a predominantly black neighborhood and shot and killed 10 black individuals and also injured 3 others in this mass shooting. Now, what did Wendy Rogers, a white nationalist herself, have to say about it? Well, she posted on social media, Fed Boy Summer has started in Buffalo, taking a page out of Alex Jones's book to push this theory that it was a false flag. She's an elected lawmaker in the state of Arizona. She is a state senator in Arizona. And if you think she's the only unhinged right-wing lawmaker in the country, you'd be mistaken, because on a federal level, we have others who are just openly pushing the racist white replacement theory. And we'll get to them in just a second. Cenk.
Yeah, she's also deeply anti-Semitic, and so is the Great Replacement Theory. She has posted several anti-Semitic memes before, including when they were attacking CPAC, which is a massively right-wing organization, but they think it's not racist and right-wing enough, and so in it they put a Star David on it. She's talking about George Soros like Tucker Carlson does, like the shooter in Buffalo did. Oh, the guy who's actually controlling things and looking to replace us. And then has all these conspiracies because he's the puppet master. It is the oldest.
I apologize if sometimes I'm a bit too blunt, but I don't know how to be. My reaction to this kind of shit is when I hear the euphemisms, when I hear the sugarcoating, when I hear the platitudes, it pisses me off. It's an insult to the memories of everyone who died. It's an insult to every one of our intelligences. It's foul. I hate it, man.
Libel there is, and it's directed at the so-called Jews who control us. She's deeply anti-Semitic, deeply racist. And by the way, if she's reelected, so is all of her constituents. Not all, but the ones that voted for her are saying, yes, I like this anti-Semitism. I like a lunatic representing me because I'm just as stupid and crazy as she is. And by the way, if you look at the polling on the Republican side, it's a giant chunk of them. We'll talk about that in a second because it's what's driving these politics.
This is Paul Gosar.
Paul Gosar, the congressman, isn't doing anything to help rural America.
Paul's absolutely not working for his district.
If they care about health care, they care about their children's health care, they would hold them to account.
My name is Tim Gosar. David Gosar.
Grace Gosar.
Joan Gosar.
Gaston Gosar.
Jennifer Gosar.
Paul Gosar is my brother.
My brother. And I endorse Dr. Brill.
Dr. Brill wholeheartedly endorse Dr. David Brill for Congress.
I'm Dr. David Brill, and I approve this message.
Guess what? Paul Gosar kicked their fucking ass because Republican voters saw how racist, white supremacist Paul Gosar, who spreads conspiracy theories about trans people on the day of a shooting, and they were like, yes, more of that. These are what our politicians are doing.
I know that you have said that there are no adequate words to describe the loss yesterday in Uvalde, Texas, and I agree. I'm stumped. And the only answer that seems to explain the death and destruction that has taken place in communities like Waukesha is that we are experiencing a mental and spiritual crisis. Do you have a better explanation for what we're going through?
I really don't, James T. And it's just heartbreaking. I can't imagine losing a child. It's just horrific to contemplate. Obviously, our sincere condolences, but as I said, there are not words to express what needs to be expressed here. But no, I think the secularization of society.
The secularization of society.
I think in many cases the loss of faith. I think the solution is renewed faith.
Loss of faith.
Stronger communities, more supportive families. That's the direction. But unfortunately, that's not the direction in many cases our nation's heading. It's tragic.
This is what Republicans are saying. These are what the Republicans who are going to control. By the way, Ron Johnson beat progressive stalwart Russ Feingold in 2016 because of Hillary Clinton didn't even visit Wisconsin. He beat him 50.2%. The Democratic Party under the centrist leadership. As Hillary Clinton lost Wisconsin, she dragged down Russ Feingold, and he lost too for that freak. Here's what the Republican Party is running on.
We are not ashamed. We're going to do a political rally, and we're going to honor Jesus. We're going to say his name. We're not going to compromise. We're going to have Pastor Todd Coconato that came up here and delivered an awesome word. And we're not going to be ashamed, and they're not going to tell us separation of church and state. We are the church, and we run the state. The church as a business doesn't get to monetarily control the government. I will never let that happen. There will no church in Georgia monetarily control the government. But we are the church, friends. It's us. We are the church, and it says of, by, and for the people. The church runs the state of Georgia. This state is sovereign. This is our state. We decide what happens. We decide if we kill babies. We are not ashamed.
Jesus, guns, and babies, Jay. Yeehaw! Jesus will watch as we use our guns to kill our babies in school. And he won't lift a finger, because it's all in his plan. It was his plan for your baby's brains to be spread across their first grade classroom. It was all in his plan. Isn't that a beautiful plan? And because it's God's plan, that means it's a good plan. Are you mad about that plan? Well, then you hate God, and that means you're satanic, and I can kill you. You object to a first grader getting their brains blown out by an 18-year-old buying a fucking military-grade assault rifle? Well, then you're satanic. You're the satanic one. You have an obligation to like, comment, and subscribe.